His Make-Believe Bride. Rakes and Rebels, The Raveneau Family, Book 5, by Cynthia Wright, narrated by Timothy Campbell.
Chapter 1. Polperro, Cornwall, April 1818. It didn't help Justin Saint-Briac's mood when the grey sky began to spit cold raindrops at him. His knees ached, curse them, as he climbed the steep hillside path to his brother's manor house. Shielding his face with one hand as the rain fell harder, he looked ahead with his good eye and saw Izzy's painting cottage nearby, just as his brother Gabriel had imagined it a decade ago, on the eve of his wedding. As that long-ago night had worn on, the Briac brothers imbibed more and more cognac. Eventually, Gabriel had brought out a sheaf of sketches, enthusiastically describing his plans for a hilltop estate above Polperro, including a light-filled atelier where Izzy could paint. Justin had pretended to listen while silently scoffing at his brother's dreams. Even now, seeing the handsome manor house come into view, framed in an archway of rhododendrons, he thought that appearances were usually deceiving.
"Monsieur, a fine home your brother has made,"
remarked his manservant Baptiste. Justin was so deep in thought he'd nearly forgotten Baptiste was walking beside him. "Fine enough, I suppose."
"But of course,"
Baptiste amended quickly,
"it pales beside your mansion in Saint-Malo."
"Do not attempt to placate me as if I were an ill-tempered old man."
"Certainly not, monsieur."
The rail-thin Frenchman fell back into his habitual state of silence. Built of mellow Cornish stone, the home Gabriel and Isabella called Elysium was simple yet handsome, lined with windows and fronted by neatly trimmed boxwood hedges. Parkland and gardens spread as far as the eye could see. Justin found it odd to think of his younger brother as a prosperous landowner. Odder still was the notion of Gabriel as a contented husband and father, who no longer cared for adventure. It was Justin's experience that people didn't change, at least not in ways that really mattered. Reaching the house, they were greeted by a plump, ginger-haired housemaid who took Justin's greatcoat and Baptiste's hat. Unlike most servants who kept their eyes averted as if they weren't permitted to be human, this girl gave them bright, welcoming smiles. She was even bold enough to announce that her name was Claire. Justin saw that the entrance hall was spacious, with a tile floor and walls panelled in carved walnut. Although the atmosphere was homey rather than impressive, he had to admit that...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?